cruise daw.
Can I just make a comment? Because this is very important, no? The story is really very simple. It's a reunion of two former lovers. It is the politics of the relationship that you have to look at. One is self-centered, selfish, and the other one is, or feels like she's being used. That kind of undercurrents of relationship niya. And so Tintin eventually took the final step. I'm not going to take this anymore. Let me off. Yung mga ganun. So, along the way, I mean, you have already a lot of indications that the relationship is not going to work out. That's the politics. It's just not it's very clear. It's very clear. And Alex is that kind of person. She's a user.
Yeah.
She's a user. And in relationships, you might have to consider, are you being used? Is this an equal relationship? Are you giving and taking at the same time? Or are you just giving and the other side is taking and taking? And if you find yourself under that circumstance, you better get out because you will never be happy. It's a simple story, the realization, and finally the courage of the protagonist to say enough is enough. That's it. It's a simple story. It's a realization story. Epiphany is a story of epiphany, probably, or she realized this a long time ago. There is already, feeling that was happening, but she could not say no, and so to say no finally is her growing up. It's a simple story.
So it's like an initiation story, a story of decision.
Yeah.
Nori?
Yeah. Minsan kasi, yung pinakasimple, yung mas malaki ang impact. Doon sa nagbabasa.
Yeah.
So, and para sa akin, ito yung ganitong klaseng story. Parang, the selfish reader in me would like to know more about lesbian relations. Ano yung sinasabi ni Jimmy na sexual politics? Sa isang lesbian relations, kasi we've read about the ATM type relationship between male gays, di ba? Pero ako, yun nga, kaya sabi ko, ito yung wala eh, ito yung missing, ito yung, this is what we want to read and declare to the world na meron din ganitong struggles, no? Ang lesbian relations, ang isang lesbiana. Kaya, so, ambivalent ako after reading it. Parang, okay, I get it. User this. So, meron din pala silang gano'n, yung babae na user sa relasyon. So, ang pumapasok sa utak ko yung manga. No, maraming ganyan na mga manga gamit. Masyado ng bago yan. So, manga. So, may mga ganyan. At yan ay matalas na topic din ng mga bakla. No? So, kaya lang yun nga eh. Hindi ko alam kung dito, kaya ako ambivalent, parang gusto, ang sabi ko dito, I would have wanted a full love story or sexual politics story. Pero yun nga, that's one side. On the other hand, parang, okay, enough na ito, parang ganyan. Pero that's what I will be missing. Or maybe I will be looking forward to other lesbian stories. Parang, ano ba sila? Meron bang confrontational din nasa sa loob ng relasyon? Tapos, ano yun nga, balik ako dun, yung sexual politics sa lesbian relation. Wala akong, and my, hindi, huwag na lang. Baka TMI na.
Oh, sige. Wag na. Kasi sa akin yung TMI.
Lasingin nyo muna.
Kailangan pa ng beer
Too much information. Ang isa pa, we're talking about remnants of summer, di ba?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hindi, ay isa po pang comment. Like yung kay Andrew, yun lang yung mga natatandaan ko. No? Yung paglalagay din ng, hindi lang yung local color o yung environment, pero yung, tama ba? Ito yung, may nalagay ako dito yung the global in the local. Yung paano nag-change yung city, meron ng Save More, meron ng ganyan. Pero, and she actually stated it, no? Still, it is the city I choose to live in, the only city where she can find me. Parang nag-iiba na yung environment, na nagiging urban na siya, no? Pero nandito pa rin ako sa ganitong klaseng relasyon. Yan yung reading.
Yeah, so you're seeing that the setting is not just being used to, randomly, that it says there's a necessity for this particular city to be used in the story, and that it's not stuck in time. Even though it's provincia, it's dynamic.
And I think yun din yung magandang talagang aralin ng mga writers, yung paano magiging seamless, yung pag-incorporate mo no social and economic, even political environment and happenings or thinking na nangyayari. Yung seamlessly na i-incorporate mo siya doon sa iniisip ng character mo, na hindi ka nagle-lecture kasi yun yung laging sinasabi sa atin ng mga experts. No, na ito nag-editorialize, maririnig ninyo yan. Or nagtuturo na ito, or nagde-lecture na ito. Yun yung ayaw na ayaw ng mga readers sa ganyan. So, I think dito na-accomplish naman yun. And dun sa iba ding akda, meron ganun attempts. No? So, yun yung isang tingin ko strength. It presents to us yung context ng relasyon na meron. Kaya siguro din naghahanap ako nung ano ba talaga nangyari. No? Kasi I get it, no? User si Alex, pero ano ba talaga yung nangyayari?
Nauna si Ingos.
Okay, so ba't yung stylistic choice ni Sigrid na analyze yung dialogue instead of closing information marks? Waves, when I was reading it, I was thinking of waves. Kasi may ganong feeling yung melody ng pagkukwento. Tapos pertaining to the characters, sabi ko kay Sigrid, gusto kong pag-utugin yung dalawang characters. Kasi yung isa, person A is si Alex, sobrang magagamit. Pero si Tin naman, ulaga. Tapos nagpapagamit. Pero nung ending, nagustuhan ko yung part na yun kasi she was able to remove herself from that situation. Kaya nandun sa end, I highlighted something na on the last paragraph, Tin said that, but there's something about this island that allows me to extricate myself from her. I was hoping it wasn't there because Tin earned it. She didn't need an external force to affect her to arrive to that decision. So kita mo naman yung journey there. I was hoping that Tin owned that decision. She didn't need anything else to do that. So yung image of ocean na dinala na si Alex sa ocean within her room. Tapos the presence of that image is consistent in the story. I feel na nakadagdag siya sa beauty of the story.
I don't know, did you miss the triggering incident? The very important incident. Kaya lang, low-key masyadong presentation, baka hindi mo nakuha ang meaning. They were in this shop, and suddenly, Alex kept looking, ito, ang ganda nito, oh. Parang memory ng Zamboanga, yung earrings na mother of pearl. At saka, hindi niya bibilin, si Tin ang bibili. Binili ni Tin, at saka nilagay ang box sa bag. Yun, hindi mo yun nakita. Alex way of, getting Tin to spend for her. you know, hindi lang pera. Ito gusto ko, ang ganda nito. But you will not buy. You buy it for me. Finally, Tintin grew up and got wise. Oh my God, I will keep doing this. But she bought it. It's not the waves. It's not the external, the environment that, you know, it is this action. You have to.
That's why I said I was hoping it wasn't there because she already earned that decision. She already, nandun na sa nasa loob nila yun.
Oh, from the very beginning.
From the beginning.
Meron
Yes,
siya.
from the beginning.
But you have to have a triggering incident. Talagang sabi mo, this is it. This is it. Wala na. Puno na ako.
Yeah.
But it's so quiet. In fact, the first time I read it, I didn't realize that it was that crucial. And in the end, I thought, bakit naman siya lumayo? Bakit naman siya suddenly nag-change na ang mood? Oh, we have a group, you can stay in the hotel, you can, you know, do this and do that. Parang, anong nagawa ni Alex? And then I went back, sabi ko, sometimes, you know, the way people manipulate you are so subtle that hindi mo alam that you are already being manipulated. But even then, si Tintin, right from the very beginning, sensed that one-sidedness in the relationship. Because sabi niya, there was a time when Zamboanga was under siege and she needed help and she needed comfort, and she reached out to Alex and not a word. And for many years, did not hear from her. And suddenly, text or whatever, Tintin, I'm going to Zamboanga. And then she had to be pulled out of her schedule. You have to make way for her. You know, when you come across that kind of relationship, so exhausting. You don't own your life. It's somebody else making a schedule for you, doing all sorts of demands, saying, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. When you come across that kind of relationship, you know, this is about writing, but bring this to your own lives. Get away. Get away. No, maski na, no matter how attractive the person is, no, get away.
Pero, yeah, I agree.
Feels
You actually...
Because Alex is so beautiful.
Yeah. Yung sinasabi na user si Alex, pero hindi, sa akin hindi masyadong strong yung kanyang pag-user, kaya ako gusto yung kwento. Kasi ang subtle, yung manipulative siya, hindi siya user in the sense na bili mo ko dito, bili mo ko yan. Yung stereotypical na nanggagamit talaga na tayo na babae o lalaki, di ba? Why not? So, pero ang maganda dun is, napaka-subtle lang, tapos ikaw, ginagawa mo yung gusto niyang gawin mo. Hindi niya ikaw kailangan sabihin. And that's what I thought was beautiful about that particular scene. And it wasn't, for me, it wasn't like an epiphanic moment. Kasi from the beginning, alam na niya eh. Doon sa Buwag Siege pa lang, alam na niya eh. So it's just like, parang dito, yun na lang yung parang physical manifestation na walang pag-asa to. Kasi I think, umaasa pa rin siya, but there's a part of her na umaasa, na baka naman nagbago na after all these years. And it is this particular scene, maybe, that makes her certain na, ay, hindi ito nagbago. Ganun pa rin siya. And so, gusto niya i-confront about the past. So, it's really that. And when you think about it, ang mura lang naman yung lyrics na yan, di ba? Parang 50 pesos lang yung Mother of Pearls, parang ganun sa pero ang bigat ng kanyang ibig sabihin or significance. Right.
I think kaya din nagustuhan ko yung kwento dahil a story of codependency na nakaka-relate well, yung amin sa akin dito. Kasi very quiet niya eh. Ibig sabihin ay abusive yung isa naman nagpapapuso. In very quiet ways na may consent to a large extent. So may agency sila, and it's a loop. So tatawag sa kanya si Alex, flash forward 10 years from now, and it's likely going to reenact, the scene will be reenacted over again. And for a certain kind of nostalgia, kasi ang choice ko lang naman, this codependency or nothing. So you'd rather reenact this scene rather than have nothing to look forward to. So parang very complex yung very quiet. Yun nga lang yung last line na never look up. Masyado namang
Hindi ka naniniwala.
chika nga lang eh. Parang all others ambivalence na nag-work. Pagkas bigla nila meron something quite negative na syempre hindi naman ito literal lang na nagsiswing siya towards another direction, etc. But it's also figurative. Pero hindi ko ma-take yung ganong klaseng value for the complexity of repeating itself. It's a repeating scene, I think. Parang maintindihan naman natin kung bakit kailangan i-repeat itong scene na ito. Kasi nga, wala pang pumapasok na bago. In exchange for as kind of surrogate for this scene. It's a great love to begin with. Much in the same way yung abuse, well, it's also abusive. Battered women, you can't get out of a relationship with men, or drugs, for example, or well, it's ano naman natin to begin with abusive, pero on the other hand, wala kang choice eh. Wala kang love life, or meron kang abusive love life. And people would rather go for that kind of violence, acceptance of violence, tolerance of violence, rather than nothing coming into their lives. So, yun yung wager ng kwento na to. Kaya sa akin, successful, except for that last line.
Actually, consistent, tama din kasi consistent siya dun sa image ng waves. Kasi nabanggit ni Bruce na parang there's something wave-like about the way the story is told. Yung waves, hindi din siya dumadating sa point na never look back, di ba? Balik lang siya ng balik. So parang kung tama, maganda yung point din ni Roland na baka yung ending niya is na hindi siya consistent doon sa well, the metaphor of the sea and the waves, and as well as of course the nature of codependent relationships. Na malapit na mag-TMI, kaya pigilan niyo na ako. Kung bakit love na love your story na to. Gusto na magsalita ni Ibrahim.
Just
Bigyan niyo yung
Sa group message na lang
Melos, may GC din ang panel.
Ba't wala ako doon sa GC? Ako talaga yung pinag-uusapan ko. Yes, Ibrahim.
yes po. Ko-comment na lang po ako and then I'll extend it to the next story na lang po. Pero speaking as someone who was born and raised in Zamboanga, I can say na the imagery and the place is on point, and then of course we're all on the same page naman po about. Pero I really like how the descriptions are well placed. Kaya parang konting layer, parang unti-unti mo siyang kinukuha little facts about themselves, not just parang about the place but the personalities of the characters. And I like, of course, how she connects that yung perhaps she's thinking this is a city unsure of itself because that's what pain is, parang ganun. Yes, and agree ako kay Sir Rolando na parang she could have made it final sa last line. Pero it's not within my culture, pero I really thought that she was going to, di ba may sa seawater, there's a cleansing ritual na ginagawa na parang once you go back to the shore, you're cleansed and you're healed properties. Parang siguro ganun. Pero it's about the ocean din yung next story.
Yeah.
So siguro sa sobrang langoy niya naging ocean.
Sa palit na isa.
Pero Pero sa ano po, I like the contrast between the two stories because dito sa first story, the love is unsure. Pero they're close together. Pero the next story, the love is sure but they're oceans apart. So pero at saka yung sa ano, konting history placed here and there, parang sprinkled siya pero well placed. Yun lang. Ang
Yun
ganda.
yung sabi ni Lori, no, na parang seamless yung pag-incorporate ng context
Yes, po.
doon sa personal. Sige, si
Okay, so Remnants of Summer really resonated with me because I have been, because I have been both in a affair,
Yeah.
but and because the protagonist was Finn, it was entirely from her point of view, the viewpoint of the relationship and what its effects on her are. I was left a bit wanting from the side of Alex because it's a lot more complicated than just I want this earring
Yeah.
or this girl is mukhang nagpapagamit, so I'm gonna use her. It's not just that. And I wish that even though the protagonist was the one na nagagamit, that it was a little bit more touched on in the scenes that reference their past together. Which is why I'm gonna go into the second story. I also love the second story because it was a break from something that was very real to something that was a little more aspirational. I love that the love there is unquestionable. And I love that each of them were cultivating something. With Patty, it was the plants, and with Astra, it was her work under the sea. And it was both towards saving the world, which in this sci-fi world seems very like it's about to end. And there was a reference, I think, to like they have to move to another planet. I love that that was a device that made it clearer that love is about cultivation.
Yeah.
So, there.
Yeah.
And not totally dysfunctional.
Next.